Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you all today? I haven't posted for a good few weeks now, and I've been really focused on some self development work. And when I'm focused on my own self development, a lot comes up for me, and I release a lot, I let go of a lot energetically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and I take a while to sort of come back into myself, but at the same time working and having some awesome sessions with clients. And also, I'm very happy to say that for those of you that know, my mom passed over 8.5 months ago, and I'm so grateful that we finally had a memorial service for her, which was beautiful. But that brought up a lot of old emotions too, some good, some not so good, as I was going through all the old photos. And it was amazing because I realized that there was a lot that I had forgotten about that was good. And it was really awesome. So it just feels like there's been some finality, a few closures. I do continuously work on my own self. That sounds funny. But it's been interesting because even with the closure of my mom, and please know that it's not closure in the fullest of the way we may understand it as a human being. I'm still working through the grieving. Her birthday's coming up in October, and I see her in butterflies around us, around me all the time. And it's really beautiful that that connection happens. Yet in the humanness of who I am, the little girl, Michelle, the little girl, I had her for 49 years, and so there are moments in time that I allow the grief and the grieving, and it's moments, and I'm not getting stuck in it, which is great. And but just as an example, I played the beautiful song "The Prayer" with Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli, and that was my dedication or my tribute to my mom. And oh gosh, the week before that, before the actual memorial service, I cried and cried, and I just pushed. I was sitting having my morning coffee, and I'm chuckling because to be a fly on the wall must be so funny to watch us, or to even be spirits, and must be so funny to watch us as human beings, and they must be like, really, song played 8 times later and you're still crying. So I don't know, I just have these moments. But I literally just kept pushing repeat and played it, and it was just this mammoth amount of grieving that came out. And it always fascinates me how much our bodies retain and how much comes out when we let go of the retaining. Anywho, that's just a little bit about myself personally and the journey I've been on. And it's been great. It's been absolutely great because it sort of, even having that momentous, probably it was 10 minutes of crying, and I just felt it here, but I felt like I was also just grieving for the world, and there was just a lot, and I don't kind of nitpick anymore as to what it is. It's just like, yep, this feels like it's about my mom. This feels like it's about my mom. And it probably was. But I just felt like there was maybe a little bit more that came into it too. But the beauty of it is that when I got to the memorial service, and we had it on Zoom because my family, my brothers and my dad, we were all over the world, and I felt like I could handle a lot better than I would have a week ago. So I hope that sort of makes sense. But I do know in the grieving process that, and it's something I've discussed with friends, and my husband is like, yeah, but don't dwell in it. And I said, no, well, what does that actually even mean? What does it mean to dwell in it? What does it mean to be in it? I think that's different for everybody. For me, when I'm working with, or having work done with me, or having a therapist work with me, I know I can feel the difference of when I'm in that, my nervous system is off. And it's very different for me when I'm in the sympathetic, for anybody and everybody, and when I'm in the parasympathetic. But it's like I said to my husband, grieving is in a moment. And I don't know anybody who's watching this, but I haven't yet to see somebody who's cried for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I'm just talking from, when I'm running workshops or whatever, I know that I've had perhaps an hour to two of crying. When I've done plant medicine, it comes in a wave where I've just had this big amount of healing that has to happen. For me, tears are healing, guys, and I always say they're golden tears. And it comes, and then it's like, whew, then it's done. And then I might still start laughing in plant medicine, and then something else comes up again. So, and then the grieving or a memory comes up, but it's just that interconnection of allowing so much. But then we're also connected to everything else that's out there. And I'm still learning I wanted to say disassociate, but that's something that I'm learning to not want to do anymore, because that's when I leave my body. When I've gone through a very traumatic or shocking situation, I'm learning to discern more, is what I wanted to say. And as I'm learning to discern more, I'm able to step away and go, okay, I see that, I see that, I see that, I see that, and I see that. And I'm not attaching energetically, I'm not attaching emotionally. And I haven't got it down to a T just yet. I'm still working on being the master. Because I do, I can have altercations, I can have moments where I can have confrontations, which just takes me straight into the limbic brain, and it takes me straight into fight or flight or confrontation, fight mode, or the little girl inside of me who just freezes up and who can barely even breathe. So what's my point? My point is, notice where you're in. Notice what's yours and what's somebody else's. Notice when we get energetically attached to dramas. Notice when we get energetically attached to other people's stories. So as an example, if you go and sit with somebody and have a coffee, and they're just giving this fat download, and they're bitching and moaning, and in what I would explain victimhood, because you're hearing the same story for the 15th time, yet nothing's changed in their world. Notice if you feel upbeat after you've left, or are you feeling heavy? My suggestion to you is, before you leave that coffee table or that space, go into the bathroom or go into the car park and shake it off, just like leave it there, leave that shitty energy there. You're not wanting to take it with you for the rest of the day. You can bring it back in with your thoughts, but just have the thought and just say, no, I'm leaving that there, I'm parking that there, because you don't have to take it on. And we do. We're taught not to take it on. And it's not to say as well that somebody sharing their story who is going through something really big or massive in their lives is not affected in some way or other, and how it won't impact on our heart. I mean, it's very hard for me, honestly, if I'm connecting to a loved one who's passed over and they're coming through perhaps in a heaviness, or explaining that perhaps they took their lives, and the person in front of me, their loved one in front of me, is crying. I cry with them. I just don't know how not to cry with that person, because I'm just in that feeling in the moment with them. So again, do you hear it's very different when somebody's and they're just in that lower vibrational space, and they just continuously are bitching and moaning about their lives, and you sitting going, okay, yeah, yes, and in your head you're thinking, wow, there's kind of a lot to be grateful for, like we're sitting here right now. And often we don't speak up, often we don't say anything. So you've got that, and you've got a very different story where somebody's actually heartfully speaking and saying that, they've gone through some massive trauma, or they're experiencing something in their relationship and they don't understand it. It's very, very different. I hope this makes sense with what I'm saying, because I'm really wanting to define that there's a very big separation between those two parts, or those different personalities that we have, and that we see in others, and that we experience with others. So I hope that helps in some specific way. So interesting enough, where I live, And this is just a little bit of an update. We went through our little town. I think there's about 75 to 78,000 people that live in our local town. And for me, if any of you know New Zealand, there's two islands, the North Island and the South Island. I live at the top of the South Island, and just as I look out, if I go and stand in my kitchen, I look out my window, there is a beautiful hill. I wouldn't say it's a massive mountain, but it's a hill, and it's called the centre of New Zealand. Now, interesting enough, we had floods. It's a sunshiny day here today, but we had floods for, I think it was last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we were all checking in, friends, community, we were all checking in with each other. And guess what, guys? Not anybody was worried about, when we were showing up in community, how we could help shovel water, shovel mud. Not one person asked, do you have a mask? Are you vaccinated? Blah, 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 blah. Check my hands, I'm like, yep. Fascinating how community comes together. Yet we are the center of New Zealand. We are what I would look at as the chakra system. Nelson's within, the heart center, the heart area. And flooding, water is cleansing, can be devastating. Thank goodness there were no lives that were taken, but there's still landslides that are happening. And our Prime Minister came and had a look, and there's photos in our community group where she's wearing her mask, but the community weren't. People around her weren't. And they were hugging each other. And I was like, yep, there it is, people. There it is. Like, nothing else matters in this moment except that beautiful love that's been shown. In that moment, our Prime Minister was hugging two beautiful friends of mine. And it's like, nothing else matters. And those times of, and I'm not wanting to create any fear here, because this is about how can we lift our vibration? How can we think differently? How can we feel differently? Energy is energy, and it's been felt, hence that something needed to be, the focus needed to be shifted. The focus needed to be shifted. So Mother Earth, the rain just came and came and came, and the water rose, and the rivers were pumping. And it amazes me how nature just knows what has to happen. Stops us in our tracks where we come together as a community. And I know so many of us across the world are going, we just want simple. We just want simple. So here's a thought. What does simple look like to you? Simple to me is having my coffee every morning. Simple to me is having a smaller home. Simple to me is community. Simple to me is growing fruit and vegetables. Simple to me is putting my hands in the soil. Simple to me is watching, simple and present, or being present, or presence. I feel like it's kind of the same vibrational word. Simple to me is watching an earthworm, picking up an earthworm and putting it back into the earth again. Simple to me is drinking some water. Simple to me is kissing my kids, kissing my husband, hugging myself, bringing myself into this very moment as I'm connecting with any of you that are watching this right now. What does simple look like to you? Because we get to create simple in our new, wonderful, new earth that's been rejuvenated. What does simple look like to you guys? Simple to me is allowing ourselves to know and notice that we are all connected. We all have beautiful heartbeats. So I have a beautiful story to share, because I was just thinking of people who have come into this world in different bodies, different forms, who perhaps have different disabilities, Asperger's, autism, there's Down syndrome. There's a lot of what we would perhaps term not normal. But for me, those kids, those children, those humans are so out there. They're on the level of genius. It's just learning to sort of function, I think, in this world that we live in. And I smiled because I was incredibly privileged to work with a beautiful young woman, Teddy, who's 35, who has Down syndrome. And her dad had passed over a few years ago, and I explained to her in a very simple way, with her mom helping me, to help Teddy understand, and so that I had to really slow down in the way I was talking. And I said to Teddy, her dad's an angel, because apparently she was really worried about her dad, if he was okay. And her mom had sent me a message back a week or two later saying, "Oh my God, Michelle, Teddy's at peace with her dad." And it was just amazing. And I got Teddy to do a few breath exercises, because she goes to the dentist and she gets a little bit overwhelmed. And her mom said she's practicing it. And I felt like I was the privileged one. And what's interesting is that nobody wanted to give Teddy a chance. Teddy's as human as what I am, as what anybody else is. She's probably even more special than me, more special than, sorry, that didn't come across, I hope, egotistically, but she's more special than us as normal human beings, Children who have autism, I know they're just in feeling, they just feel the energy. And ADHD, they just boom, 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 boom. They just feel the energy of the home. Down syndrome, they just in feeling. But look at them, they just hug, they kiss, once they connect, they just want to, they don't care. There's just no inhibitions whatsoever in terms of who they are. So that was just such an absolute privilege for me to be able to experience that with beautiful Teddy, and I'm so honored. And if there's anybody out there that has a sibling or a child or a mother or father, like whoever that you can think of, auntie, uncle, that you're like, actually, they are Down syndrome, and maybe we could just teach them a little bit of breath work and just bring some clarity to themselves. And because we all a soul, and our soul has its knowing, and our soul remembers. So having said that, I hope in some way, I'm grateful to be back again. I'm grateful to be able to share some experiences and give you maybe a different perspective on life. And I wanted to share with you that for those of you who know and follow the Council of Eight, next week, Monday, which is the 29th of August, at 12 p.m., which is in the States, is the 28th of August in the States, and at EDT is 8 p.m., CDT is 7 p.m., and Mountain MDT is 6 p.m., all on the 28th. Now, if you go to my website, www.michellecarpenter.co.nz, and go and click on the event, it's for free. It's about coming together. We do a heart meditation, and then I do a channeling for the collective. And if there's enough time within the hour, there may be one or two questions that will be answered or asked. I never know, and it's there's nobody's a favorite. They might just say, well, this is who they want to ask. But it's normally a question for the collective, for the group as well. But we start with a heart meditation, a grounding, a connection to all that's out there, and then they bring through a message. So guys, if you want to join, please go and connect, and then I will send you a Zoom link, and I look forward to having you there. And again, please just check your times. It's 12 p.m. on the 29th is New Zealand time. EDT is 8 p.m., CDT is 7 p.m., and MDT is 6 p.m., and that's on the 28th. So I'm giving you America's time zones. Europe and the UK, you're welcome to join us, but it's like 2 a.m. in the morning, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I will re-look at times maybe in the future to see how we can accommodate everybody across the world. Singapore, I think it's 8 a.m. in the morning. China, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. And I look forward to having you all there. the Council of Eight are just, I met them a few weeks ago in a hypnosis session, which was amazing. Went into their spaceship. It was just, they're just beautiful light beings, beautiful angels who just want to help humanity. If you'd like a one-on-one with them, same situation, go to my website and I channel them directly, and you get to ask them questions and they get to share their guidance and their wisdom with us. So guys, from my heart to yours, love is why we are here. Oh, hold on, check. I've got a blanket around me, but love is why we are here. Remember that. Love is what's going to bring us through some of the hardest, most debilitating times that you may have experienced. Forgiveness, kindness, compassion, wherever you are in the world, to yourself first and foremost, and then to everybody else. I love you guys. Bye.